There's things like maybe sending an American squadron to Poland to help provide air defense there, or Patriot batteries. I mean, there's some things that he could do to signal his displeasure and that he's not going to be Mr. Nice Guy anymore. But right now, he's been quiet except for that Twitter line, and I haven't heard anything much from other members of the administration. So no one knows, but the door is certainly open for him to take a stronger stand like everyone is begging him to do.
Here we go. Those are the words of the US President Donald Trump reacting to the news of the Russian drone incursion into Poland's airspace. President Trump saying that Moscow had violated Polish airspace. The Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk said his country is the closest it's been to open conflict since the Second World War. And the Defence Secretary John Healey spoke today at a meeting of the E5 defence ministers in London.
As your NATO ally, we will support you, our Polish friends. As your NATO ally, we will play our part to help secure the safety of your people. And following our discussions today, I've asked our UK armed forces to look at options to bolster NATO's air defence over Poland. Today, as E5 nations, we say to President Putin, your aggression only serves to strengthen the unity between our NATO nations.
Well, that was the Defence Secretary John Healey speaking a little earlier. Jim Townsend is a former US Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defence for European and NATO policy and joins us now. Good evening to you, Jim.
Well, good evening to you.
How serious do you think was this drone incursion into Poland's airspace? A number of these drones shot down.
Well, it's very significant. It's a significant not because of the size of the drone attack or what it did in terms of damage and this type of thing. What was important to all of us is that this is an escalation by Putin in terms of the gray zone activity that he's been embarked on for a number of years now against the UK and Europe in big ways and small ways. This is an escalation, and he's testing a lot of different things and sending signals to a lot of different people. But the big thing is that he is testing the resolve of NATO to do something about this, to see what NATO would do if he took such an action. And that's what he's looking for right now, is what will the NATO nations do?
Well, the Times here in London is reporting that Britain is considering sending fighter jets to Poland to help bolster Poland's defences against Russia after this incursion. I mean, do you think that is something that Britain should do? Is it something that other NATO allies should be doing as well?
Well, and other NATO allies are. I've been watching on X over the past few hours, and the Swedes are sending assistance along those lines, air defense and aircraft, I believe. The Dutch are doing something like that. And so I think this is the proper response. It's not a NATO response. This is not NATO organizing something under a NATO flag, which actually I wouldn't mind that as well. But right now, nations on their own are sending assistance, and I think this is something that Poland really needs, because we don't know if this will happen again. But we have to remember too, it could happen in another country. It doesn't have to be Poland next time. It could be Estonia.
Yeah, I mean, Poland is a NATO member. Shouldn't NATO, as an alliance, be responding to this? If this is President Putin testing NATO's resolve, doesn't NATO have to do more than just condemn what has happened, but actually demonstrate that it is prepared to put some military might to support Poland?
You're absolutely right. And I was hoping we were going to see that today after the North Atlantic Council met and they heard from Poland on what happened. And then they went back, of course, and they asked guidance from the NATO capitals. I was hoping that NATO would announce some type of assistance program for Poland and others that are along that front line, including Romania, the three Balts, Finland. And seeing how we as a NATO alliance can plug gaps. I think that would have been a really good move for NATO to do. Maybe they will. I don't know. But these other nations have jumped in, like the UK, have jumped in ahead and said, "Look, we're gonna help you because your defense is our defense." And so I hope NATO will do that. It can't be business as usual for NATO. They've got to do something more than issue some type of declaration.
I mean, the fact that most of these drones were shot down, does that show that Poland's air defences or NATO's are actually working?
Well, that's an important question. And what I heard was of the 19 drones that were sent, and again, the number varies, but of the 19, three were shot down. And so it's not as good a job as Ukraine does on a nightly basis. My understanding is that the Dutch were able to shoot them down. I'm not sure who else might have splashed one of those, but it's an important question because I think what a lot of people are saying is that if you look at the kind of bombardment that Ukraine gets on a nightly basis from Russia, that's a lot of drones, hundreds of drones. And if suddenly Russia were to turn its attention to Poland or to Estonia or whoever, and launch a massive swarm of drones, the way we are constructed now, could we handle a drone attack like that? And I think the consensus is no, we can't. It's
I just wanted to ask you, Jim, about the response from President Trump. I mean, he has tweeted about this, saying, "Here we go." I mean, it's unclear what he means by that. Trump has repeatedly threatened to take tougher action against Russia if it fails to come to the table to at least negotiate a ceasefire. We had that high-profile meeting in Alaska. If anything, Russia has stepped up its aggression since then. Do you think that there is any prospect of President Trump doing anything to respond to this?
Well, I don't know what he meant by "here we go." Maybe "here we go." We're going to really give it to Putin now. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. But I am hoping this is certainly an opening for him to say, "Well, look, I've had it. You've embarrassed me. I had a big show for you in Alaska. I've been trying to, make progress based on what we talked about. And look what you've done, escalating these big attacks on Ukraine cities and now this Polish event." So certainly now's the time for him to all of a sudden put down some tough sanctions, particularly on the energy side. They're already having gasoline shortages. Certainly, he can do more to cause that to worsen and to stop money from coming into Russia from sales abroad of oil. So, I mean, there's things like that. There's things like maybe sending an American squadron to Poland to help provide air defense there, or Patriot batteries. I mean, there's some things that he could do to signal his displeasure and that he's not going to be Mr. Nice Guy anymore. But right now, he's been quiet except for that Twitter line, and I haven't heard anything much from other members of the administration. So no one knows, but the door is certainly open for him to take a stronger stand like everyone is begging him to do.
Jim Townsend, former US Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defence, it's been great to have you with us. Thank you very much indeed for joining us.